Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Ivani from B class, and now I will present a poetry analysis that I wrote myself. The title of the poetry is Rooms Made of Yesterday. And before I begin the analysis, I would like to read the poem first. Rooms Made of Yesterday by Ivani. This room feels like a photo once kissed by golden light. Now faded in silence, its edge cut from endless time. The air hangs heavy like breaths left unsaid. And every breath I take feels like farewells quietly spread. The floorboards creak like bones too worn to rise. Yet once they dance beneath young laughter and surprise. The rocking horse stands still as though time lost its way. Its glassy eyes once bright, now dull and grey. The curtains drop like arms that held a sliced embrace, and shadows crawl like ink across a forgotten space. Each object waits a whisper of who I used to be, a cradle made of memory rocking slow and quietly. There's chalk upon the wall like stars that dim and fall. My name still lingers there, a spell too faint to call. But names, like stars, grew silent when no voice called them home. And echoes fade when skies forget the songs they used to own. The past is glass, it glows, then cut when held too tight. So I realized it weighed and reached toward morning light. Even ghosts grow weary when the dark forgets its flame. And I, no longer made of dusk, don't feel the same. Beyond this door, the morning hums like honeyed breeze. Its sky stitched up with colors unnamed by any seas. Though part of me still sleeps within this shadowed gloom. I just know flight, but rise and walk beyond this hollow room. Now I like to explain what this poem is about. The poem Rooms Made of Yesterday reflects on memory from the past, especially childhood memories that slowly fade as time goes by. Through powerful imagery like an empty room, forgotten toys, and a name written on the wall, the poem shows how the past, although filled with warmth and meaning, can hold us back if we stay in it for too long. It reminds us that memories are part of who we are, but they should not stop us from growing. The main message of the poem is about accepting and appreciating the past, then finding the strength to let go and move forward with hope toward a brighter future. This message is clearly shown in stanza 5 in the line, "The past is glass, it glows, then cuts when held too tight." This metaphor shows how the past, though beautiful, can become painful if we cling to it too much. It encouraged the reader to realize what hearts and grown beyond it. Next, I will continue with the analysis of poetry. For the first is kind of the poetry. The poetry is a free verse because it does not follow a consistent rhyme scheme or method throughout the entire piece. The poetry uses natural rhyme and expressive language to convey a deep emotion and memorize. But in some stanza used rhymed and AABB pattern, for the example in a verse stanza. This room feels like a photo once kissed by golden light. Now faded in a silence, its edge curled from endless night. The air hangs heavy, like prayers left unsaid. And every breath I take feels like farewells quietly separate. These rhyming lines appear occasionally, but not throughout the entire poem. Next, it's about genre of the poem. For the genre, this poem belongs to lyric poetry because it expresses personal emotion and deep reflection from own experience. The feelings of nostalgia, sadness, and growth are shown through vivid imagery and emotional language. For the example, in a fifth stanza, even ghosts grow weary when the dark forgets its flame. And I, no longer made of dusk, don't feel the same. This shows the emotional shift and inner realization of the writer, a key feature of the lyric poetry. And the next is about type of the poem. As the type, it is a reflective poem, since the writer is looking back on a childhood memories and thinking about how those memories have shaped them. The poem encourages the reader to appreciate the past, but also to move forward. An example of this reflective message appears in the last stanza. I choose not flight, but rise, and walk beyond this hollow room. This line shows the writer's decision to move on from the past and grow stronger. Next, it's about structure of the poem. The poem consists of 6 stanzas, and each stanza has 4 lines, or called quatrains. This gives the poem a balanced and organized look. For the lines, the total of the lines is 24, and rhyme scheme, the poem follows mostly AABB patterns in a several stanzas, but not all parts are strictly regular, a common trait in a free-verse poetry. This is the example that the poem uses AABB rhyme in a verse stanza. This room feels like a photo once kissed by golden light. Now faded in silence, its edge curled from endless night. The air hangs heavy, like breaths left unsaid. And every breath I take feels like farewells quickly spread. This rhyme is like night, unsaid and spread. And this is part of the lines that use AABB. And in a structure of the poem, they use punctuation and adjustment. The poem uses punctuation marks or like commas and periods to control the read. but also use enjambment or lines that flow the next without a full stop to maintain a reflective tone. After that, I will explain about imagery that used in poetry. The reader can clearly visualize an old, quiet room like photograph left untouched. For the example, in a first stanza, this room feels like a photo once kissed by golden light. Now faded in silence, its edge carved from endless night. The phrase kissed by golden light evokes warmth and nostalgia, while in a faded in silence shows how that warmth has slowly disappeared. This creates a feeling of a gentle sadness and reflection. The next explanation is about symbol. A symbol is something that stands for a deeper meaning beyond its literal sense. For the example, in a second stanza, the rocking horse stands still, as though time lost its way. The rocking horse shows childhood and how time keeps moving. It used to be fun and full of joy, but now it just sits quietly. This means that past was special, but we cannot go back. And the memory stays, but life must go on. And the last explanation is about emotion, and the explanation about the emotion in the fifth stanza. Even ghosts grow weary when the dark forgets its flame, and I, no longer made of dust, don't feel the same. This is emotion in the poem comes from the writer's journey through remembering, grieving, and eventually letting go. But in an example of the emotion, this part expresses emotional exhaustion and transformation. The speaker is tired of the holding on to sorrow. The dark forgets its flame and chooses to let go of the past. The line, I don't feel the same, shows a shift toward healing and growth. And in a last part, to conclude the poetry, Rooms Made of Yesterday, this is a personal reflection on memory, loss, and growth. Through imagery, symbol, and emotional depth, the poem reminds us that while the past shapes who we are, we must eventually let go and move forward. Thank you for listening to my poetry and my poetry analysis. I hope it spoke to something within you.